Time to log on, gamers, because we're talking about the War for Cybertron. No, not that one. Rise of the Darkspark. Get out of here. That's better. Now it's time to go from the greatest toy reviewer that ever lived to the greatest or worst gamer that ever lived. Because I haven't finished both of these games and Rise of the Darkspark. Maybe I should put them on this channel at some point. Anyway, Sideswipe. He's pretty good. Let's take a quick second to look at the box. Well, it's a missed opportunity not making it look like a video game case. There's some video game aspects to it. Control pad and nothing else. Here is Sideswipe. One from the original line I didn't have. I had the jazz version of that mold. I sold it because I wasn't a big fan of it. But this is a much more game accurate version of Sideswipe. He's got the proper chest instead of the roofer chest, which, spoiler alert, it's right there. Also, spoiler, he's got a spoiler. Let's take a look at the head. It is perfect. The perfect update of G1 Sideswipe. Even better than the still fairly fresh Siege Sideswipe. I never got an Earthrise version of this mold. Like, the angles are slightly different, but there's not as much overhang, so it actually makes his eyes pop out. He's got a different expression. Kinda, but he looks a bit more handsome, I'd say. Probably a bit younger than the War. These are both wars. You know what I mean. He's decently proportioned. He does have a tiny bit of a backpack, but it's manageable. I like the design. And he's got a gun for an arm. Accessory-wise, does anyone need a hand? I've just found a hand. Yes, the line-wide gimmick, apparently, of the Gamer Edition is weapon arms. Because that's pretty much how they use their weapons in the video game. They transformed out of their arm. This one being I guess a pulse rifle. It is one solid piece of plastic with a magazine out the side, which is a real-world feature. I believe some guns have side-mounted magazines. Can't name one off the top of my head. It does have a little tab so he can actually wield it in his hand if he really wanted to, but come on. Gun arm. Like, let's get groovy up in here. That does beg the question, what do you do with this? Well, at first I was going to say, oh, you just leave it off to the side, and that kind of sucks. But I was looking up the wiki on something completely different, and then I realized you can tab it into his backpack. To make it jet out even more and have a disembodied arm sticking off the back of it. Just great. And you could flip the hand out. What are we, the Addams Family? Initially, I tried to fit it in under there because those slots look like they can store it. And they kind of can, but only if you don't tuck the backpack back in. It's a bit awkward. I swear I can get it in there. That's a line I've had to use before. It fits there, but then it immediately pops out. And for now, we're going to remove the gun arm because for transformation, you have to use the hand. Like me when I never have a girlfriend. You can remove the spoiler if you want a more boring look. And he's fairly clean otherwise. No shin kibble, no back of the leg kibble. These panels are supposed to tab in, but on my copy, they just proing themselves back out. Yeah. This one just goes, eh. But this one, boing. Articulation-wise, it feels like we've taken a step back from the goodness of the modern generations, because the head is on a ball joint, which is fine. It has a little bit of up and down, and a little bit of rocking, the classic swivel. The shoulders are on ball joints, and I don't really like it, because they're at the end of these sticks that are at that angle, which makes motion feel very awkward and scrapey. Like the shoulder going out is fine, but going forward it feels like I'm forcing plastic past itself. And like he doesn't get his arm perfectly straight. It's that kind of odd angle. And then you go out that far. And there is a bicep. There's also on this one a swivel. Actually, if you bring in no, it's not that one. It's this one. You have a swivel at the bicep and a swivel. You have to bring the gun in to use the swivel. But there's a swivel right here as well. So you have an elbow, which bends very deep. And that's nice. It does provide some dynamic poses if you can work your way around the awkwardness. Hips. Yeah, that's a common issue with every single version of this. The hips, that is an issue. Their placement knocks the chest plate and the backpack out of alignment. Even holding them in place, you can't use the waist then. It does rotate freely because it's located all the way up there in his spine. That seems painful. Hips on ball joints. They can go back, but they knock the backpack. They can go out that far, which is not a full Van Damme. Oh, you can keep going until you pop the ball joint off. Thigh swivel. The knee bend is good, but it's all let down by the ankles. There is no tilt. They are sculpted at a permanent angle. All they have is that, which, in my opinion, doesn't seem to be very helpful in dynamic posing. It just kind of makes him look awkward. Like he's not really able to hold his balance well. He's kind of stumbling along like he's had too much energon at the bar, if you know what I mean. So, articulation, it's not my favorite. It feels awkward and stunted in ways. And honestly, it feels like it's thrilling 30. Like, not to the level that we've reached with Legacy. Like, one of the big reasons why I initially was kind of off-put by this branch of the studio series. Like, the Gamer Edition name And just the look of the barricade, it just kind of put me off, and I almost said I wasn't going to pick up anything. I think I did at some point say I wasn't going to pick up any of them. Sideswipe, I wanted to prove me wrong. In certain ways, he does. I like him in certain things, but in other ways, it's just like, oh yeah, that's why. I don't feel the need to mention it, but I also do feel the need to mention it. I don't make U-turns. However, I do make U-turns. There's a tiny bit of paint chipping on his chest, although his forearms are completely coated in paint, so there's a heavy chance that they will chip as well. Size comparison, let's form a team deathmatch. With Bumblebee. This is the original release, not the Gamer Edition one, and oh god, this this design. It got way better in Fall of Cybertron. How about Fall of Cybertron Ultra Magnus? I didn't realize I still have this. I thought I sold it. I'm glad I didn't. If the Gamer Edition lasts long enough to reach Fall of Cybertron, please, 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 give us a new Fall of Cybertron Ultra Magnus. This is one of the few times he is an Optimus Prime repaint that actually looks like a not white Optimus Prime repaint. This is such a good design that it needs a better figure. Starscream. Those were all the Autobots I have. Now it's time for Decepticons. Skywarp. Thundercracker. I'm seeing a pattern here. Megatron. All right. Let's take a short break to go touch grass while I get all those guys into their vehicle modes. Let's transform Sideswipe. And start by folding wrists in. You can unpeg these. We're going to do what the waist fold does already. And bring the chest up on this armament and this one. It's a bit loose, but not as loose as some people's copies' legs. And we can, let's unpeg that for now. Come to the shoulders. These pieces are going to rotate up, and we're going to bring this all the way around the head. And the arms are going to slide up. You want them under the chest. I think I'm doing this right. Oh, my mistake. Fold the head in first. Duh. Now the arms are going to lock into place together, and these can just sit right there. Now we're going to rotate the arm at the bicep, and it's going to tab in, the other way actually. It's going to tab into the spine. Get that big thing out of the way. It's going to tab in right there. And the other one, tab it in right there. And now we'll bring this piece and rotate it around. And we don't want to lock it in yet, because it's going to lock into the legs. Speaking of legs, rotate them at the waist. And bring the feet flat. Open these panels up. Rotate these filler pieces until they're up there. Basically till it tabs in to the other side. But we don't want to tab it in yet. What we want to do, bring all the way up until that tabs into the spot on the arm. Make sure everything is aligned so it has smooth operator. It's not right, but it's going to lock in like that. And then it's already done it, but it tabs back in to close up the gap, which is nice. Then take this side panel here. It's going to rotate all the way around, and it's going to plug in to this gray tab right here, which then is also going to make it hook under the spoiler. We got one leg all done. The same thing on the other side. Come on, fight me a little bit. There we go. Rotate around. Make sure it tabs in. There we go. And now the spoiler will also peg into those two holes on the chest. Not really tightly, but it does it. And then finish. Close the hood. Make sure everything's actually locked in together, which it isn't. These two pieces were not tabbed together. There you go. And that's Sideswipe in his vehicle mode. That transformation's not too complicated. It's a little bit order specific, but I don't think it's hard enough to comprehend. We have a pretty nice car mode here. This definitely fits the Cybertronian vibe better than a slightly spacey version of a Lamborghini. Hello. But it also reminds me of a certain other red Cybertronian car. Just a little bit. Here's Bumblebee. God, I don't enjoy transforming this thing. The truck that is also a frog. Ultra Magnus. Starscream. Thundercracker. Skywarp. And Megatron. So it rolls very well. Everything lies flat, so there's... my laptop is not the best place to roll on. And you have a spot on the roof, which was the backpack for the gun. Tight fit, but there you go. I'm pretty sure that it does this in the video game. Maybe I should replay them. Or I guess you could plug it in right there if you want him to shoot down to get momentum to do a flip. I don't know. Here makes more sense. I do like the shape of this car mode. The bumper, very interesting and jagged. And I imagine it goes very fast on the streets of Cybertron if they do have proper streets. I mean, you have to get around somehow. I have an Autobot symbol there. Very tiny windshield. I know there are no people on Cybertron ever, but like even then, why would you have windshield if there's nobody to look out or even drive? Because a car has windshields. That's the best thing I can come up with. It's very nice. So, do I recommend this guy? Kinda. Apparently, he does have some QC issues where people have had ones with weak joints. So, take that for what you will, but I think he's cool. His posability feels a bit limiting, but the transformation is definitely interesting. And the two modes are fun enough. And I'm just kind of happy to have, I guess, more for the War for Cybertron line. Again, not that one, that one. And who knows, maybe they'll do a jazz out of this, or hopefully do jazz with a brand new mold. Or I don't know. This guy was released at the same time as a Sunstreaker, but that Sunstreaker was not from War for Cybertron. He's from the Bumblebee movie concept art. I kind of want to see what a video game Sunstreaker would look like, because I don't really plan to get the concept art Sunstreaker, really. It's just, it's like, eh. It looks better as like a pre-Beast Wars Cheetor than it does Sunstreaker. That was a really cool custom I saw. For this guy, yeah. If you like the way he looks, pick him up. And if you like removing hands and hand-based jokes, why not? He's good for a giggle or two. All right, now I'm just gonna end this video. Probably go to bed. Maybe even record some more videos. Hey, why did I cut there?
What the hell?
You. Oh, you. I don't like you. Keep it weird.